Yo, 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 what up? I'm Tony Tone. I'm a Sony shooter. I'm not switching systems, and you're not either. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Yo, what's going on, people? What's going on? I want to talk to you about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and that is this notion of switching camera systems. Oftentimes you hear a vlogger, why I switched, why I did not switch, why I went from Canon to Sony, why I went from Sony to Nikon, why I went from Nikon to Fuji. Should you switch? And the answer is almost always no, you should not switch. First of all, who are these people talking to? If you are a vlogger and you think you're going to convince a professional photographer to switch because you switched, that's just a crazy notion. Vloggers have way too much investment in glass and in camera bodies and lighting and all types of equipment that they're not just going to switch because you gave them a good idea to switch. So that's out the window. So who else are you talking to? The enthusiasts. Who are these enthusiasts? Those that are not married to a particular camera system, but have invested, pretty substantial amount. These people have maybe one or two different camera bodies, a couple of pieces of glass, and some lighting. They watch YouTube quite frequently, and they may have some disappointments about the system that they're currently using. So are you going to convince them to switch? Canon comes out with a camera body that does this in video and does this in stills and has this dynamic range and this ability to shoot frames per second in X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Then Nikon comes and it competes with that. Then Sony comes and competes with them both. And then there's a back and forth camera war. There's always going to be better no matter what system you buy into. So if I'm a Sony shooter, which I am, and I am upset about the fact that the R5 came out 8K video. Wow, none of Sony's cameras have 8K video. A couple of months later, here comes the Sony A1, 8K and 30 frames per second. I'm sure Canon is in the works for something with 30 frames per second, and that's going to have 8K, and it's not going to have the overeating problem. There's always going to be that newness factor with any system. So that can't be it. If I'm a wedding photographer and Canon came out with this new Powerhouse camera, and it's like, wow, with all these different features, does it make sense for me to sell all my gear because that one camera has all these features that I want? Does that mean that the quality of the images and the work that I've done thus far is bad? So why would I switch? Why would I lose money? It makes no sense. Stop listening to these people who have switched. Now, vloggers, they're different. They get sponsored, whether they say they do or not. They switch because they can afford to. Now, the last factor. If you see me on my channel in the various videos that I put up, you know that once upon a time, I switched from Canon to Sony. Am I a hypocrite? No. Here's the reason why I switched. I think it's a good reason. When I switched from Canon to Sony, I didn't switch from Canon to Sony because of a particular body or a particular lens. I switched from DSLR to mirrorless. That's a good reason to switch. Mirrorless cameras can do things that DSLRs couldn't. I love the fact that when I looked into the viewfinder, I looked into the EVF, the picture looked like what I saw. I loved Sony's ability to do that clear image zoom, making my prime lens basically into a semi-zoom lens. And I loved a lot of other things that mirrorless offered that DSLRs did not. And I knew it was time to switch systems. Yes, and I definitely took a hit. The glass that I had from Canon was nice glass. I took a hit. The bodies that I had, well, they were, I mean, I've got some use out of it. So I think I, even though I took a small hit, I think I did pretty well. It was time to sell anyway. In any case, although you'll never hear a vlogger, I don't think, say, you should switch to the system. If they enthusiastically tell you that they switch from system to system to system to system, just know that's good for them. But it's not good for you. I'm Tony Tone. I'm out. But before I go, remember, you can't be better by being the same. Peace!